Do we stop playing because we grow old? Or is it that we grow old because we stop playing? That's one of my favorite quotes. And to me, it links back to childhood. I was very fortunate as a child. I definitely had a picture-perfect childhood. And, my father would follow us with his camera in the yard as we would collect stones. We would look for insects and stuff. I loved, frogs and all of those things, so I would always, look for them and find them and, hold them and stuff. And for me, childhood was innocence. It was playfulness. It was curiosity. It was wonder. And I think that as we evolve as humans, because of the way that society is structured, what we learn in the home, and in our homes, in the school, we have a tendency to abandon these different elements, these crucial necessity elements, to kind of fit in, to conform. And I think that it's important to reapproach ourselves in a way that feeds into childhood. And you could look at this in the sense of the inner child, right? Maybe there were things that you experienced in childhood that you liked, some things that you didn't like. And it's important to revisit these things because, as I was saying before, we have a tendency to become solved as individuals. And when we become solved, we create these ideas in our minds for how life needs to be. And interestingly enough, oftentimes, these ideas aren't even that beneficial for us. They're just what we've created based on what we think it needs to be, based on what somebody else told us, usually a friend, usually a family member, whatever it may be. And we oftentimes find ourselves in positions of dissatisfaction. And the reason that I bring this up is because as an artist growing up for me, before I became solved, I was unraveled, I was unfolded, I was wondrous, I was curious, I was just full of innocence and playfulness, and I didn't care if something didn't make sense. I just went for it anyway. And with respect to where we are now as adults and the responsibilities and things that we've got to take on, I totally understand all that stuff and why most people might say well, now you're an adult and everything and you've got to do this, you've got to do that. Understand it. Does not mean at all that you need to abandon curiosity, playfulness, and all that stuff. There are plenty of adults who have been successful in just trying something and seeing where it went. And I think that a lot of people have an inability to do this because they've placed themselves in positions that create obstacles for them. And I respect circumstances and everything, but I just think that we need to do the best we can to get back to these roots, these origins, these elements, because I think it's safe to say that a greater portion of the population is, in fact, deeply unhappy. And I think that points to everything that has led to us being solved as individuals and kind of closing up, going back into the shell and, thinking that life needs to be the way we were told it needs to be for the rest of our lives, when the people that told us this really had no idea what they were talking about. Not everybody that tells you how to live is giving you good advice. In fact, I think it's safe to say that more often than not, a greater portion of the people that are trying to tell you how to live, they don't know what they're talking about. Of course, the bottom line to all of this comes down to one simple question. And of course, the answer to this question is not going to come easy because a lot of people are going to want to bullshit themselves. But ask yourself, Are you happy? And just sit with that. And if you find it hard to answer it, just continue to sit with it. But whatever you do, please don't bullshit yourself. Your future self will thank you.